Hi, this is Roger. Thanks for dropping by. You know, I like to let people know what's going on ahead of time. Well, this is a letting people know what's not going to be going on ahead of time. I've just been through my notes on the grounds that it's around this time of year, end of January, beginning of February. I go through all my notes and find out things that have been in their pots quite a while that might need a repot in the coming months, and I mark them in red. That's it. This is the repot. Not one of the many, the one. That probably explains why on earth there were so many kitchen time videos last year. I'm actually up to speed. There are some I could do, but it would be like for the sake of it. I will do my Paphiopedilums, all three of them. We've had to clear out. We've got the one that's in bloom over here, the Mordier, and we've got the two little miniatures tucked up the back there with the speckled leaves. I will do those on the grounds that they've done a lot better since they got repotted annually. And then the only other things I'll be looking into are things that are in pure moss, you know, or heavy on the moss, shall we say. But there really isn't many. There really isn't. A lot were done during last year. Holy clay pots are in large bark. They need to be in there 4 years or climb out of the pot before I look at them. And there will be a couple that are climbing out the pot. So we'll have some fun with those. Trying to get them out is one thing, and then trying to get them back in again. But there are a few. My Laelia anceps, unfortunately, is one of them. The two leads, one's here, and that's elevated now. So when the new growth comes out, it's going to be here, somewhere here. And it's high off the media and may well head over the edge of the pot. The other one is already on the edge of the pot, so there is no room for new growth, so that's going to have to come out. And I might take the oldest couple of bulbs off so that it can move back across the pot and give it a few more years. That's the trouble. It's the vigorous Cattleya. The plan of putting them in the holy clay pot with the large bark is they can stay in there for years and years, but that's only if they agree to stay in there. If they're going to climb out and over the sides, then I should probably have to deal with them. We have done one. We did take one out and we did lose some roots, but it recovered the roots very quickly because of the timing. You're going to repot Cattleyas. They need to look like that in a couple of weeks. You can see there's a mass of new roots coming out there, yeah? Well, at the moment they're tiny and fragile, yeah? But in a couple of weeks' time they'll have put another inch growth on. That's when to do them, when the new growths are coming out. And if you stick to that with Cattleyas, your disturbance is minimal. The new roots are going to acclimatise the plant into whatever you put it in quite quickly. The loss of the old roots, the plant will just forget about them after a short period of time because the new ones come on and replace them. So yeah, so we haven't got loads of repotting to do. There's a big basket missing there. So I had a bit of a clear out. I've got plants to go. Well, those that aren't going anywhere are still going. It's called going in the bin. So I took the Rhicostylus with the buds on out of that big basket so that I could get rid of the basket down in the shed and not have to worry about it anymore, and throw the other one away because nobody wants it. And I'm only keeping this to see the blooms, and then that's going to go because nobody wants it. I mean, it's not good. There's no point. This one somebody actually wants, so that's I'm looking after that, you know, waiting for the time when I can post it off. Then that will be gone. That's another baskety type thing out of the way. So yes, I've got quite a large box to send to Insa, but not now. He's just done a video saying he's got sunshine, rain, hail and snow today, I can't think of anything that's missing. Oh yeah, hurricane. Gale force winds. You didn't include that, so you missed out a weather item. Apart from that, you had everything, I think. We had a bright sunny day until about an hour ago, and it's all disappeared behind the clouds again now. Anyway, so it's just really to let you know that there's very little going to be going on as far as kitchen time is concerned. I'm going to have a scrape away at some of the existing mounts to replace their moss, because it's getting on a bit. That'll be a matter of teasing out the old moss and putting some new moss on. That's all, you know. And you know, I certainly won't be doing all of them by any means. There's an odd mount that might actually have to come off the mount and be redone. This Tolumnia is definitely coming off because it's migrated in two directions, and it now is genuinely two plants because the bit in the middle died. So that's two separate plants now. One's pointing upwards and one's pointing downwards. It just looks silly. So I'll take those off and put them back onto a mount, both pointing in the same direction, so that it looks more sensible. Right, yeah, so just keep treading on the heater. That's because it's not normally there. Yeah, so just a quick update on things that are not going to be happening. And there just aren't going to be lots of kitchen time sessions during this season. There will occasionally be a new plant, I suspect. So, you know, I can't guarantee that I'm going to go a whole season and not buy any plants at all, because something's going to catch my eye. Plus, who knows, I might actually come across the few that are on my mental wish list. I don't bother writing it down anymore. It's too small. I can actually remember it, and it only consists of a few plants and some sets. You know, like if I see any nice looking Latorias for sale, I'll get them, even if I've already got the plant, because the ones I've got are now not very good due to misfortunes over the last couple of years, called heat waves and getting their winter keep wrong. So yeah, I would replace those quite happily if I see some good ones. I'm not venturing into the Oncidium world anymore this year, I don't believe. It's going to have to be pretty flipping special to grab my eye in that front, because I've got a lot. Same with the Cattleyas. I've got all sorts. I've got the cluster types that I like. If I see a good red one, I might take it, because I've only got one red Cattleya. I've got very little red in here altogether, literally. And we've got this nice Nellyida over here. This is the red velvet that's looking good, although this is going over now. It's dropped 2 blooms already, so won't be here much longer, and then that little splash of red velvet will be gone. But yeah, I'm very short on the colour red, very little. So you know, if I see red stuff, I might grab it, depending on what it is. And I mean, I won't be getting more Restrepias. I don't need any more. They're too similar, you know what I mean. Masdevallias, probably not. On the grounds they're not at their best in here. Although if somebody's got a genuine intermediate type Masdevallia that's quite vigorous, I'd go for that if I liked the blooms. I'm not one of these that, oh, it's a Masdevallia, it's a species, I must have it. I don't do that. I don't care whether it's a species or a hybrid. It matters not a jot to me. All I'm interested in, is it a good healthy plant? Does it grow well? Is it liable to do okay for me in my grow room? And do I like the blooms? Bonus if they're fragrant, but there aren't too many of those in the Masdevallia world. There are some, but you know, not a high percentage. Like if you said in the Cattleya world, more are fragrant than aren't. Whereas in the Masdevallia world, it's the other way around. So, yes, so we won't be venturing out too much this year. New genera, unlikely. Yeah, I can think of one. Yeah, maybe. I nearly got it last year, but they're classed as warm growers. So then they're not going to be happy in my winter if they're right up that top end of intermediate into the warmer section. They're not going to be happy in my winter. It's a matter of having a read and seeing if I can find if any of the species are more tolerant of lower temperatures, and then perhaps find a hybrid with one of those in it. Maybe, and if I get one, obviously you'll know what it is, but until then you'll have to keep guessing because I'm not saying. It's not really like anything I've got. It's like a mixture of some of the things I've already got, but it's its own genus. There's quite a few in there, and they certainly have enormous spikes on them. But we shall see. It's a matter of coming across one that sounds like it'll put up with my winter. If it gets well established enough during this growing season to be a happy plant, it's more likely to put up with the cooler temperatures. It'll just stop growing, but it probably wouldn't die. Anyway, we shall see. I've got to find one first. Yeah, Twinkles are over, almost. This one's gone now. I was going to say is, as a guide on Twinkles, when your spikes are virtually finished, get the spikes off as fast as you can, cut them. The reason being, I've only done this plant not that long ago at all, and it's already starting new growths. It triggers them. Many Oncidium types act like that. You can just see between those two. There's one starting there. I did see several. There's two up the top. So it's kicking the new growths out, yeah? And it's in response to the fact that none of the blooms got pollinated. So it's now going back into growth mode. But certainly on Twinkles, they do it quickly. And the sooner you can get it going and get those new growths pushing on, the sooner it'll be back in bloom. It's just a simple logic. Yeah, the tiny Twinkles nearly finished now, but notice even on there, I've been round and trimmed the old blooms off and just left the ones that have still got blooms on. The reason is the parts of the plant should now start thinking about coming back into growth. The cinnamon Twinkles have both finished, so they've had their spikes taken off. Little yellow one, that one's still okay, and the little yellow one in the pot, that's still okay. So the Twinkles are getting thin on the ground, and Tolumnias are sort of okay. I might take this one into Wessex on Saturday. I've got a meeting on Saturday, so I might take that one in. I might not. This one over here looks like it's losing its spike, but in actual fact it's branching. It's got 2 branches on there already, so this one's going to carry on blooming for a while. And the other Tolumnia up here, this one's got 3 spikes. The buds are just forming, silhouetted no doubt. There's a spike coming on this one, and I saw another one the other day as well. Yeah, that little tiny one there has got a spike on it. Oh dear, what does that one look like? Jarrack Flyer Red Butterfly. Oh, interesting. Anyway, spike on that one. I thought there was another one somewhere with oh yeah, silhouetted, but the last one up on the top shelf up there, that last one up there has got a spike pushing up as well. So we've got more Tolumnia buds to come, blooms to come down. They're quite a way off though. They're quite slow. They push out like a little rocket initially. They appear from nowhere and suddenly they're, sort of 10-12 centimetres long, and then everything grinds to a halt while they slowly grow, slowly form their buds and eventually open. But yeah, they are a bit tedious if you're impatient. Right. Okay, I got to get going. I've got some other stuff. I'm catching up on an awful lot of computer stuff. The last couple of videos I posted were filmed back in last week. So they're just getting brought forward so that I can get on with, I've got 2 talks to get together and a magazine to put together, and it's all computer stuff, so I need to get cracking on that. Some of which is searching the internet to get some suitable pictures. So anyway, we got on with a bit today, and have another go again tomorrow. Oh, and another update you'll all probably be pleased to hear. The no smoking is still okay. I still find myself, it's first thing in the morning when I'm half asleep anyway, I still make a coffee and head towards the back door. And I think, what am I going outside for? I don't smoke anymore. And it still feels odd. Those morning coffees are now indoors. Come the nicer weather, I shall probably still go outside and sit on the bench and look at the garden or something. But at the moment, the reason to go outside was the cigarette, and that's no longer there. I think it was 3 days without unlocking the back door. I didn't venture outside of the back at all, because the reason's gone. But it seems to be okay. It's not a worry, if you see what I mean. It's more just a breaking of a routine rather than a nicotine habit, if you see what I mean, which is what I was hoping for. So we're not getting any panic attacks, or I'm not rushing up to people in the street and taking one off of them or anything like that. It's okay. It's doing okay, and I've gone long enough now that that's it. You know, there's no going back now. I'll be fine. So that worked well, thank goodness. And yes, I'll see you next time. I would like to say I feel much better for it, but I don't. Quite honestly, I don't feel any different. The only thing I've noticed is my tickly cough has almost gone. It's still there first thing in the morning, but then lots of people cough first thing in the morning, even if they've never smoked. So, but yeah, I can't say I feel any better or any different, quite honestly. I just got a different set of habits to what I had before, that's all. So, seems to be okay so far. I'll say the trouble will be the next time Hannah comes down, because she'll still be smoking, and that means they're in the house again. So that's the first time the temptation will be there. So we shall see. I'm sure it'll be fine. I might even be able to persuade her to pack it in as well, because she ought to, really. Anyway, see you next time. Enough waffle, things to do and all that.